Okay, hello, my friends. This is Arspus, and today we're going to continue with the rest of the story of Rumi. In the previous video, we talked about listening and the importance of listening. And I told you that listening looks like downloading something, and when you want to talk about something, first you need to have something to talk about it. And we are like a hard disk, and listening is downloading and getting information, and then we can upload those information in a manner of talking or speaking to another person or writing a letter or something like that. So if you haven't watched the previous video, you can click on the link above, somewhere here, I don't know. That was an important video. If you want to continue with the rest of the verses, I highly recommend you to watch the previous video as well, because it was about listening and the importance of listening to the reed. And I told you what the reed is. Reed is a musical instrument, and it is something that in Persian we call it ney. And I said the Persian is one of the Indo-European languages. And nay or ni or nothing, they have the same meaning, because there's nothing in in nay or reed. And I also told you that music is a universal language and everybody can understand it. And maybe that is why after 800 years, Rumi still can inspire different people from different part of the world. And that is amazing, because Rumi himself is a music, regardless of the translation. Yes, you can read the translation. You may have your own conception, but I think we need interpretation with the translation. Right now, I'm going to tell you the rest of the first verse, and if I have time, then I can have a little introduction of the second verse, or maybe I can interpret the second verse completely. So let's go on. Okay, imagine now that you have the information and you listen something and you know about different things. Now you want to say it to the other people. What do you say? People can talk a lot, can speak about different things. In whenever you are, you see that people are talking. But Rumi does not mean that type of talking, talking about businesses, talking about, I don't know, the stuffs that you're going to buy or something like that. So, what do you say when you are sad, or when you are depressed, or when you have a sorrow, or when you have a grief inside your heart? If you want to say something to somebody, if you're going to say something, then you would probably want to complain about that sadness or grief or sorrow that you have inside your heart. Exactly like the reed, or the sound of reed or ney that I played in my previous video. So complaining. When you are going to complain, you need someone else to talk to. You may say that, all right, we always need to talk with another person, even if we want to talk about something else, like, I don't know, business or your job, or I don't know, your everyday life. Then you need to talk with another person. You are true, but when you are sad, you need to talk with another person. You cannot talk with yourself. Sometimes people um, can talk with themselves. They always talking with themselves, but they may not actually show it that they are talking with themselves. But when you are thinking, you are talking with yourself inside your brain, inside your mind, with the words and vocabularies. Words were from the Latin root of logos, are the containers of the meaning. So in order to convey a meaning, you need words. And these words can shape up in your mind and brain. And it is very important. Without words or without language, you cannot talk. I can even go further. You cannot even think. So talking is also important. Yeah, in previous video, I told you listening is important. Listening is important in the first step. But in the second step, talking is important. And I want to say that we are all alone. Human being is a lonely creature. Although we are made as social and we are in the social environment, regardless of real social places, like we are living with the other people, we are working with the other people, you may say, no, I'm not alone. I have a lot of friends. I have my wife, I have my husband, I have my kids, children, I have my family members, and I'm not alone. You may say that, but I want to say that no, you are alone. We are all alone. Although we are in society, although we are in social places, or even on the internet, we are on social networks, but inside our soul, we are alone. What do I mean by that? When you are thinking about something, you are alone. You may discuss one issue with the other people as a kind of consultation or something like that, but at the end, when you're going to make your final decision, you're alone. So you're alone in your thinking, you're alone in your decision making, and it is very important. Yeah, you can talk with the other people, but in the last part, when you are going to do some kind of action, or when you're going to decide to do something, you're alone. You have to make that decision yourself. Nobody's gonna help you, and honestly, no one cares about you. This may sound a little bit sad, but anyway, we are alone. Another important thing that I'm going to mention here, if you are a kind of a spiritual person, if you know a lot of things, if you are an artist, if you are a scientific person, then this problem will increase. Then you will feel more loneliness inside your heart. Why? Because you understand more, and you want to talk to the other people, but those people cannot understand you. That is something quite logical. I think you agree with me. You want to talk with the other people. You need to talk with the other people, but those people cannot understand you. They want to talk about something else that you're not interested in that thing that they're going to talk about. You're not interested at all. Why? Because you are a wise person. Because you are a kind of intellectual person, and that is the problem. That is your problem. That is not the problem of the other people. Because the ordinary people are usually in a lower stage than you are if you are a kind of intellectual, wise, all-knowing person. If you read a lot of books, you will feel more alone and you will feel a kind of loneliness inside your soul, and that is not bad. That is good. Because the majority of the people tend toward the banality and vulgarity. If you read more, you understand more. You understand about the fragility of this world. And then you feel alone. So you are alone. Even if you are not that much a kind of intellectual or wise person, you are still alone. And you're thinking you are alone. You think alone, you make decision alone. And that is why you talk with yourself. In your mind, you're talking with yourself incessantly and continuously. You're doing that. Maybe unconsciously. Maybe you're not aware that you're doing so, but you do. And I am alone too. Right now, I'm talking to you, but at this moment that I'm talking to you, actually, I'm talking to a camera. This camera is a heartless device. It does not have intelligence. It does not have consciousness. It does not understand anything. It is just recording my video, and this microphone is heartless too. It does not have soul consciousness, intelligence, anything. It is recording my voice. And then if I upload it to YouTube, after a lot of editing or something like that, then you can hear my voice and say, oh, there was a person and whose name was Arspus, and he was talking about something, and now we understand it. But right now, I'm talking with a camera. I'm alone. There is no one else here. And through the different audiences that may see this video, those people that they truly understand what I'm talking about are much, much lower than those people that just open the video and they say, oh, it's a kind of philosophical video, I don't like it, and they close it. All right, so if you have stayed to the video right now, then maybe you understand more from the other people, and maybe you want to continue with the rest of the things. Yes, I'm alone too, just like you. So Rumi says, listen to this reed, how it complains. So Rumi is also complaining. Complaining about what? Complaining about separation. Imagine there is a reed, and that reed now is a musical instrument, and you can use it just like a flute. I mentioned that in my previous video in detail. But that reed belonged to somewhere else. It was in the riverbed with the other reeds. But right now, that reed was cut and dried, and they put some holes in it, and now it is a reed, a musical instrument. And then it tells you you're moaning, you're complaining. When you push it, when you put your fingers on the holes on a reed, then you can make music, and that music is very sad. Maybe you heard it in my previous video. It is very sad. And it makes sense. It definitely makes sense, because when you're going to complain about something, you never say, ha ha ha, I'm very happy and I'm going to complain about something. No, it's not the case. When you're going to complain about something, you have some sorrow and grief inside your heart and your mind, and then you're going to tell it again to the other people, and you're sad. So you cannot be happy and say about something which is sad and complaining about something that its essence is actually solved with the sadness and grief and sorrow and something like that. When you are sad, you're complaining. When you're happy, you usually, okay, you enjoy that happiness, you don't complain. When you're sad, when you're anxious, when you're angry, then you want to tell it to the other people. Then you want to complain. And Rumi says that, okay, the most important complaint that I'm going to do is the complaint from the separation. And reed is an example, or ney, that musical instrument. He says, okay, that reed belonged to somewhere else, but now it is something else. And what about Rumi himself? Maybe Rumi was thinking about the fact that he feels so alone, and he's sad about it. He's sad about this loneliness, and he's complaining about this loneliness, because he understands that he does not belong to this world. That is amazing. So where does he belong? In the next verse that I'm going to cover in the next video, I will let you know that Rumi tells the other people also, they are also moaning from this separation unconsciously. He says, okay, they hear my complaint, they hear my moan of grief and sadness and sorrow, and they moan with my moan. And they feel that they understand sadness if I tell them about the truth. Okay, another point that I'm going to mention before I finish this video. In the first 18 verses that we have, right now we work on the first verse, and first verse is finished. In the next video, I'm gonna go for the second verse. But for the first 18 verses, we are not gonna work on the stories. After 18 verses, we will start the first story, and then we have a kind of a spiritual meaning after each story, and it can change your life. So if you like this type of content, you can subscribe to my channel and you can support me. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon.